The Harlem Renaissance was an African American cultural movement of the 1920s and 1930s. It was centered in Harlem, New York. It celebrated black traditions, the black voice, and the black ways of life. Jacob Lawrence was an African American painter known for his portrayal of African American life. He referred to his style as dynamic cubism. His primary influence wasn't so much French art as the shapes and colors of Harlem. Brownstones. Jacob Lawrence depicted a city street with activity. He used repetition and patterns to create the rhythm of this city. Unlike his earlier works, where the people and places are portrayed in flat color, in this he created depth through the use of shadows. Tombstone. This painting pictures neighbors and residents in the front of apartment buildings. It shows the full sweep of life within the African American community, from the cradle, the baby carriage at left, the Madonna like mother and child at right, to the grave, marked at center by the tombstones. It shows the cycle of life and death. Migration of the Negro, panel 1. This painting is the first one that Jacob Lawrence made about migration. It shows a crowd of Negroes about to embark on a big journey to three big cities: Chicago, New York, and St. Louis. The library. Jacob Lawrence remembered in high school that black culture was never studied seriously like the regular subjects, so he taught himself all about it. The painting shows off 135th Street Library, where the country's first collection of African American literature and history was first displayed in 1925. The self portrait of Jacob Lawrence. In the painting, the artist is surrounded by his tools and materials: tubes and jars of paint, paint brushes, pencils, a drill, a hammer, and one of his paintings hangs on the wall in the background. Aaron Douglas was an African American painter, illustrator, and visual arts educator. He was a major figure in the Harlem Renaissance. Douglas set the stage for young African American artists to enter public works with his involvement in the Harlem Artists Guild. Aspiration. The five-pointed star symbolizes Texas, the Lone Star State, but it also recalled the North Star. It guided escaped slaves to freedom before the Civil War. Into Bondage is a powerful depiction of enslaved African Americans bound. Shackled figures with their heads hung low walk solemnly toward slave ships on the horizon. But even in this grave image of oppression, there is hope. The man's strong silhouette branches the horizon, communicating strength and optimism. Harriet Tubman. This artwork uses smooth concentric circles and a smooth and jagged texture, inspired by the Harlem Renaissance music, and depicts a strong American hero separating the culture's past and future to create the new Negro identity. Magisterial aspects of the Negro life. Douglass dramatically stimulated the Negro movement by depicting the roles of African Americans. Through his political activism and artwork, Douglass was able to reveal the ideals and values exemplified during the Harlem Renaissance. Despite criticisms of his own style, James Van Der Zee was an African American photographer. He was best known for his portraits of black New Yorkers. He was a leading figure in the Harlem Renaissance. Van Der Zee produced the most comprehensive documentations of the period. Hazel Scott, a gifted singer who moved easily between jazz and classical music. Hazel Scott dazzled audiences with her wonderful performances. James Van Der Zee had the opportunity to photograph this amazing celebrity. Evening attire. The singer is dressed in a beaded evening gown, an elegant full hat, and a foxtail wrap. She holds flowers. Most of his works were taking classic pictures of beautiful women and children. Harlem couple with a Cadillac. Banerjee chose to show this wealth in this photo, which was very strange because of the recent market crash. Their raccoon skin coats seemed to match their car in lavishness. Banerjee also had no problem with trying to amplify the couple who was trying to flaunt their money through his photography. In this photo, children gather around a beautiful Christmas tree for a festival group portrait. Each child holds a newly wrapped package, a sign of uncommon prosperity in the year of 1933. Banerjee applied specks of gold paint, adding pizzazz to the superior tone paint. These artworks are only a selected few that I chose to share with you. There were many more artists and amazing artworks within the period of the Harlem Renaissance.